you could set that bond, Your Honor, we would certainly live up more into the obligation.
Madam Prosecutor, any objection to that?
At least 20. I can't see going down to 5.
All right. So the city counters with 20. All right. You know what?
I said 30,000. I just wiped off.
Well, counsel, what I can do, what I will note is that it's having weapon while under disability, which carries a presumption of mandatory time, yet receiving stolen property and improper transportation of firearm. I haven't looked into the police report. I don't see anything egregious about what led to this arrest. So with that being said, I don't mind reducing it to a 10% of surety. And I know the city would object to that, but I can do that for you. Gives you a little bit closer to being able to get out.
I think we could probably live with that.
Right.
You know.
All right, and then the court date is automatically set for Monday, 12th floor of the Justice Center at 9:45, but your attorney may change that or make adjustments, all right? But good luck, sir. Counsel, thanks.
Sorry, Judge, I don't get out here as often as I wish I could.
Nice to see you, though. It's always a pleasure.
As well. Can that be posted soon, or is
Yes.
it going to get thrown right on the van downtown?
No, it can be posted here. It's going to be, I don't think anyone will be leaving till at least this evening. So you have some time.
Good, Zach.
It's a pleasure seeing you.
I'm sure it'll be later today. So then I'll sit down and these guys will tell you what to do, okay?
Thanks,
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, take care. All right, Mike. All right, how?
Had a severe tooth pain, better than young. I'll tell you about that.
Okay, I'm glad you're feeling better. 20 TRD 03606 is driving under suspension from October 16th. And then we have 21 CRB 00217, which is improper handling of a firearm, which is a first degree misdemeanor, which means you could get up to a $1,000 fine and 6 months in jail. That improper handling is claiming that on or about October 16th of 2020, you did transport in your vehicle a Ruger semi-automatic handgun, loaded magazine on the rear floor. You spoke with the defense attorney and counsel. It looks like we're maintaining not guilty today. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor. The hope is that we can work this out. I think the prosecutor talk to the officers on this case and also allows my client some time to provide proof of insurance on the driving case.
All right, so we're going to set this for May 3rd at 1 o'clock. That's when I'll see you again, okay?
Okay, thank you, sir.
Take care, sir.
Do you need a copy of my certificate of completion or anything?
Let me see what you have.
On the day of the 15th, I took training.
He took the CCW permit and has a receipt for the gun. I told him we would.
Yeah, you know what? Bring that back because your counsel is going to use that when he gets your case resolved.
Yeah.
Now, hold on 1 second. Bailiff Sanders is saying that date may be a little too far out.
No, I can't drive it.
We're gonna keep it together with the other.
That's why she keep it together. That's on a Wednesday.
Okay, so what day we going to say?
I was in 15.
And then also, Your Honor, if you could take into account, just 2 days ago, I found out that my father, who resides in Kenosha, Milwaukee, was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer.
Okay.
I was trying to make a trip to at least see him in the hospital. Would that be possible?
What time? So let's do this. We're going to set this for April 15th at 9:30. If it turns out that you are going to be traveling, come in prior to that, speak to one of my bailiffs so that you don't get a warrant for your arrest and we can make an adjustment for you.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
So we'll see you on April 15th. Yep. Take care, sir.
You too. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, the certificate.
All right. Michael Warren, I'm sorry. Mr. Warren, come on up. 21 CRB 00146. Resisting arrest, drug abuse or controlled substance, open container, disorderly conduct, and looks like a marijuana charge. Madam Prosecutor, how are we resolving the case today?
Your Honor, this was one of the few cases I actually got to witness unfold as it was occurring. It was clear that Mr. Warren did come to the city planning to be arrested that day, but things went left for some reason while he was at the clerk's window, and he just couldn't seem to keep his emotions under control. But at the end of the day, you know, after he got wrestled and everything else, he was looking downstairs, you know, bailiff, took part in the festivities. Detective Stanford weighed in on what was going on, and I just happened to be coming in and watched it unfold. But at the end of the day, it really wasn't that serious of a matter, but it was way beyond what it should have. So I was willing to reduce it to a misdemeanor for disorderly conduct, and then I was willing to dismiss the other charges.
All right. Counsel.
Your Honor, the one thing I'd ask the court to do is, the young man, before you did have a retained attorney, it's my understanding that retained attorney is no longer representing him. I just wanted to make that clear on the record. I did help him today with the assistance of the prosecutor to facilitate this plea, but it's my understanding that the attorney that he had is no longer the attorney on record.
All right. So, Mr. Warren, are you comfortable going forward without the attorney that was initially representing you? All right. I'm just wondering how appropriate is this conversation on a not guilty. You know what? Let me pause there because he entered a plea of not guilty. He has representation. I don't want it to get. I don't want you to
We were
make sure it's
discussing the reason why it was being continued.
okay.
So that was why
Okay.
he was here.
I just want to make sure because I know.
Yeah, we're not
I mean, I
he knows what's going on.
all right. Not that I don't trust anyone, but we still have to make sure we
Right.
protect his rights.
The issue on the table is whether or not he would be allowed to get his gun back after he took his plea.
Okay.
What I will say is there's already been an offer of a reduction in charges. I think that the discussion is just whether he's going to be able to get his firearm.
Okay.
And since he was here and had his paperwork, I wanted
All right.
to check with the
Okay.
We'll take it.
All right. So, Mr. Warren, let me go back on the record with you. Thank you. So, Mr. Warren, so basically what's happening is all of these charges are being thrown out except for one charge of disorderly conduct as a misdemeanor of the 4th degree, where you could face 30 days in jail and a $250 fine. You understand that? And you want to enter a plea of no contest to that. All right. So how do you plead? So, Mr. Warren, just so I know, how did all this happen at the clerk's? So you didn't have any of these charges when you came up here? And what did you come to the clerk's office for?
Well,
I'm sorry, Madam Porter. Go ahead. Oh, go ahead. What'd you come to the clerk's office for?
I was pulled over for intent on Noble, and then I was maybe 4 days later, a week later, I ended up being pulled over again before the court date, and the pulled over didn't go as planned. I guess the officer, I didn't have my ID because I drive out of state.
Okay.
So when he told me my license was suspended after everything happened, I kind of got aggravated because I came here and I paid it when I got out. Like I came here twice. I was on the payment plan. I paid you guys. Actually, went to court when I gave her the money. Like, I'm cool. She said, "You good? You drive." I was driving in and out of state for months.
Okay.
So basically, it just got out of hand. I got aggravated, which I shouldn't have came up here the way I did, and I got into it with a gentleman that was out in the hallway. But I mean, it didn't have to go as far as it could. Like the bailiff, he tried to walk to the door or whatever. You know, he talked to me. He was cool. And I just felt like I was being bullied when I was getting walked out the door because there was so many of them. And there was already one person, help assist me out the door while I was being, assisted out the door.
Okay.
So I mean, I myself, I should have came in the way I did. So
okay.
I apologize for that because my parents raised me better.
All right. So and what I'll do is I'll accept all of that. Because I appreciate that and just generally speaking, what normally happens, from our standpoint, we don't know what happens on the street. So I'm following you. You get pulled over in your mindset. You think, hold on, I took care of this. Yeah. So, of course you come up here and you're already a little agitated, but keep in mind what happens at the clerk's office. And I wasn't there. could have been an error, could have been a foul place, it could have been anything. So you're right, but you're frustrated, so you come with that energy, and then what happens to Mr. Warren, it has nothing to do with you, but that probably happens 5 times a day. You know what I mean? So everybody's on high alert, and then probably the why you were escorted with more than one is because we want to get it quiet as soon as possible, because what'll happen is as soon as you're out, then you got 3 other people who are doing the imitation. So now they want to, the next thing, everything's out of control. But I really appreciate you standing here as a man saying, you know what, I could have handled it differently. So that goes a long way. So I appreciate you. I accept the reduction that the city is doing. What they're doing is throwing out 4 charges, reducing 1. That could have been a $250 fine. I'll cut it in half. It'll be $150, $125 plus costs. And if you're already on a payment plan, right?
No, actually, no.
Everything's taken care of? All right, so if you need time to pay this. Okay.
I want to know, I don't understand the tent thing. When I got put up the tent, I don't know how. Like the first cop that put me over, he explained it to me, but I didn't know.
So let me ask you this: where's your tent ticket? Did you resolve that too?
No, I was supposed to be.
Do we have that?
I don't.
So let me do this too. We just resolved this case. I'm gonna tell you to have a seat for a second. One of the bailiffs will go check to see if there's anything else, because I don't want that to happen. You get a warrant. But so let me tell you how the tent goes. As I mentioned, is that what you have there? How the tent goes is technically in Ohio, there's supposed to be 50% of the sunlight coming through your vehicle. Anything less than that, you can be given a ticket. The question is, some cities do it, some officers do it, some don't. Some officers are doing other things, so they don't. And it all depends. So you may say to yourself, man, I rode through the city for 3 years, no tent ticket. You can get one whenever you're pulled over.
Okay, when you say 50%, he put something on the window and it read 18. It didn't say like percent.
Okay. 18. So what that normally means is that 18% of the light is coming through, which is way low than 50. Okay. You know what I mean? 50, yeah, it would say that 50%. Yes, exactly. But here's a catch. Nobody gets 50% tent. You know what I mean? Like I was telling the other guy.
Like that, so I didn't know.
Yeah.
Because I can see, and when
right.
Would tell me like I can still see your window. Okay.
Right.
But there's other cars I can't see in the window. So
yeah, and they get ticketed too. And I'll tell you, and I tell people all the time, when I was an attorney before I was a judge, I used to get pulled over almost every week in this one location in Cleveland on my way to court. I mean, the same officer used to get me all the time. But I was stubborn. I said, I like the tent on my car. So I just kept dealing with it. So it's something that you got to decide. And then, like you said, you didn't even know it was on there. You said it's not worth it. I heard that. All right. So have a seat for a minute so we can pull that ticket. So I don't want you to have to come back.
All right. Thank you.
So what? Okay. We can see if we can knock it out before you leave.
Disposition on
oh, okay. I just did the first one. But his license valid? So what we could do after court, and we just give him a new court date.
She said it down.
Yes, ma'am.
This is Ms. Johnson's case. All righty. Hopefully that's it. I saw 2 driving suspensions under 1, but it was only 1.
Right.
So hopefully. All right. Rashawn Curry.
Yes, sure.
Mr. Curry, I have a traffic case in 20 TRD 04483, driving in suspension, failing to maintain full-time attention, and weaving your vehicle on December 11th of last year.
Yes.
And then there's obstruction of official business and domestic violence for this year from March 13th. It's important to know that domestic violence is what's called an escalating offense. That means that if you are found guilty or you plead to one, the next time it can be charged as a felony.
Okay.
You also face the possibility of a $1,000 fine and 6 months in jail for both the obstruction and the domestic violence. The domestic violence is stating that on or about March 13th, you did knowingly attempt to cause physical harm by punching a victim in the face, Angela Webb. The obstruction of official business is stating that on or about March 13th, you refused to identify yourself after being placed under arrest for domestic violence. Mr. Curry, how long have you been in jail?
I've been in jail for 5 days, Your Honor.
Counsel?
Your Honor, I've had the opportunity to talk to Mr. Curry at this time. He's going to maintain not guilty. I did have the opportunity to talk to him about an alternate place to live that is not with the victim. He does have an address at 1428 Manhattan in East Cleveland. It's his uncle Thomas Steelworth. He could stay there. I did explain to him that this court is going to place a no contact order between he and the named victim, and I did explain to him what my history in East Cleveland is if he were to violate that. So I think he understands that during the pendency of this case, he cannot have any contact with the named victim. I did explain to him that he's got a higher probability of spending a significant time in jail for violating a no contact order than the underlying charges. So we look forward to resolving the underlying charges. I did talk to him about his ability to post bond. What I would inform the court is he just started at Starbucks in Cleveland Heights about a month and a half ago, which is the income that's reflected on that sheet. But because he has just started that job, he doesn't have any money to post a bond, so we are requesting a personal bond with hopes that that employment is still open and available for him, Your Honor.
All right. So, Mr. Curry, real quick, one of the things to keep in mind, and I know your counsel told you, is the no contact order is very serious from this court. And like he said, even if we were to resolve this domestic violence and the other charge with no jail time, when you violate a no contact order, it is automatic jail time, and it's normally 6 months in jail. And then we get to this case. Because if you can imagine, what's happening is if I let you out on a bond, I'm trusting you. So if I trust you and I tell you not to go to the house and you do, that's a violation of the trust, a violation of the trust. So then I put you in jail for that. You understand?
Yes.
So that's important.
Okay.
Ms. Black, is there anything, have you spoken with the victim in this particular case?
Deborah Black, domestic violence, for the record, Your Honor. Yes, I have spoken to the victim as well. May I approach for a moment?
Yes, come on up.
May, always get so much company. Your Honor, Ms. Webb is with us right now. She had been charged on another case.
Okay.
And she's on probation with Ms. Ivory sent her to us, and after having a discussion with Ms. Ivory, it asked us to use her discretion. After Ms. Green and I talked to her, we realized she did need a domestic violence class along with the anger support.
Okay.
However, there's a lot of layers to her. And there's a whole lot going on. For instance, she actually wanted him. She said he had nobody in the city. There couldn't be no contact.
What she said.
There's a lot of games going on.
Okay.
However, she is a serious victim of domestic violence. As we both agree.
Okay.
In Ms. Green. She is. So her actions are those of a chronic, abusive, seriously abused person from probably the years. Various things. I hope that you make it very, very clear to him not to go there. She's concerned because she said he pays all the bills because he has a very good job.
She doesn't work,
He has a very good job
but she doesn't work.
at Cleveland Clinic. She makes money.
Okay.
She makes money. So I'm hearing some more stuff to this story, and I'm glad I was here to hear this part to the story because we're actually going to meet with her in group on Monday, and I'm going to make sure that Ms. Green and I both are in group with her this Monday.
Okay.
So, because she's a victim, but she knows how to manipulate. And there's really no reason for this guy who has his own issues. And he do. Yes, he's a substance abuser, he's a drinker, and he was sober for a while. He has relapsed. And it's created more and more problems. A lot of the problems she has is a result of what happened in Columbus with his using. And she's in a financial bind, and so is he, as I understand. But I hope you really make it clear to him, because I'm going to make it clear to her that there's no contact rules that involves her, and that I've talked with you, and that it's going to be on her side too. Thank you.
Anything
And
else?
I'll
The only
talk
thing I
to
would
her.
say, Your Honor, is he's presumed innocent. He's pled not guilty.
Right.
At this point, she is an alleged victim.
And she's a no.
So,
Yes, only one I have in front of me.
Yeah, just so you know, when I did meet with her, and I sent the paperwork on this green, this black, I indicated that I thought she might only need the thing. Because over her years,
Okay.
yeah, she always does that. After she talks to them, she'll call us and talk to us. Most people don't talk to her. She's usually on spot on Monday. And sometimes when she sees people, she might not pick it up somewhere. We can still put them in the woods. But this young lady is, she's a from the wave, through layers and layers and layers. Yeah. She doesn't. She wants it back home. Yeah. He's clear money. She does clear the money. He really did. It's almost more than we have to protect her from herself. Right. So we're doing allegedly. We do have to protect her.
Yeah, if you want to bring her back and do a no contact, man, that's different. If you feel based on it. I don't remember her case. I don't even remember her at all.
Once you do a no contact with her, for his case, it's established.
Okay.
No contact.
Okay.
And I'm gonna talk to her today. I told her I'd talk to her at the court.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Because I'm also, she's in danger. She's had no contact with him because it's his case. She didn't call me to tell me about this case. They were saying this to me. She has not called me when she should have. So I'm gonna call her.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. So, Mr. Curry,
Yes, Your Honor.
again, through your counsel, we're maintaining not guilty at this time. We're going to set the pretrial date for April 1st at 9:30. It'll be a $10,000 personal bond, but one of the requirements of your bond is the domestic violence advocacy group, as well as our prosecutor's office. They have to contact the young lady to let her know that you're going to be released. She has a right to know that prior to you being released. So that'll be the only barrier. But again, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I just didn't understand when you said the barrier.
Yeah, so she has to be contacted. So for instance, let's say for instance, they made a call right now and they can't get her. Until I'm sure that they've let her know that, you won't be released.
Okay.
But once she gets that notice, then I'll release you. Because what we don't want is that you've been arrested, you've been in jail 5 days, and next time she see you, knock on the door like, hey, what's up? You know what I mean, she has a right to know that you're going to be released. Keep in mind, there is that no contact order. I know we talked about it, counsel talked about it, but again, like I said, I send people to jail more often for that than even the case itself.
Gotcha.
Because I'm trusting that you're not going to violate it. Okay.
Gotcha.
All right. Counsel.
Your Honor, can you just fully explain what no contact entails, just so it's
Thank
clear?
you. So no contact means you can't go to her house, wherever, even if you were staying there. If you have clothes or anything there that you need, you have to get a police escort to get them.
Okay.
You can't call her. You can't text her. On social media, you can't have contact. And if you go to a place where you know she is, for instance, you know that she's going to be at work, you can't go there. You have to go somewhere else. Or if you walk into a place accidentally and you see her at the corner store, you have to leave. And then most importantly, or just as important, is you can't have anyone else do any of the things I just told you you can't do. So you can't call your brother and cousin and say, hey, give her a call for me. Yep, that's contact too. So absolutely no contact, which is why we're setting this date relatively close, because we want to find out what's happening and get the case moving. You know what I mean? So April 1st is when I'm going to see you back. You understand that?
Yes,
Even when you come in court, if you see her, you can't sit next to her.
Okay.
All right. Ms.
Can
Black?
I ask a question? Just in case, because sometimes we have limited the time with the police, they can't escort him to a home. Is it possible that your uncle can pick up your things? Is he able to do that? So, okay, I just wanted to know.
Yeah, if that's permissible with her, because
Right.
for me that would be violation of what I just said. You having
Okay,
to,
then.
you know what I mean?
Don't
That
worry
would.
about it.
Okay.
But if somehow that was communicated with Miss Ivory or Miss Black that that's okay, that's the only way it could be done.
Okay.
I don't even. I'm not familiar with either of the two ladies.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, not at this point. You eventually you will, but just keep. So right now, what I want you to do is focus on trying to get the police to help you out.
Okay.
And if you run into a problem with them assisting you because of their busyness, come talk to my bailiff
Okay.
and let him know what's going on. That way, he can at least get everybody on involved.
Okay.
All right.
Thank
Any-
you, Honor.
you're
That does
welcome.
work a lot better because you're right.
You're welcome. All right, you can have a seat, sir.
Thank you, Honor.
Yeah. Mr. Coleman, my bailiff is telling me that you're on crutches, so you can stay there. And I'll read this to you so that you can hear it. 21 CRA 00266 is a felony charge of fleeing and eluding, having a weapon while under disability, and improper transportation of a firearm. Is that a charge also? Yeah. Okay. All right, I'm gonna get them all. Having a weapon under disability,